everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll work right down this agenda. On the meeting minutes, someone like to make a motion to approve the meeting
I'll
minutes?
make that motion.
You're kind of fast today, huh?
Yeah.
Meeting of March 25th. Someone like to second that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is a request for determination of applicability. Gardner Conservation Commission will hold a joint public hearing under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act. In the City of Gardner Wetlands Protection Ordinance on a request for determination of applicability filed by Matthew Perenz. How do you say it? Perenz? For improvements including electronic scoreboard to a Little League field located at 100 Mechanic Street. Guys, come on up. So you did send us, everyone have a chance to look at that package. It was also emailed out. You can go up there in case you have any questions or anything. So this is the field that we've been working on as a city. Yeah, for a long, long time. It replaced Adder Field for everyone, just in case they didn't remember. It was kind of almost like a land swap back in the day. And the back 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm trying to recall, but they were donated a scoreboard. And now they're finally getting around to getting that scoreboard installed. So I know that we've talked about it over the years. We've helped out with some fencing and stuff, but I had Doug check the account balance, and it's $2,800 in the Brooks account, which has always been designated for this field. So what we were gonna propose to do after we hear from these gentlemen is pay for some of that install, with, specifically related to conservation and protecting that brook in the back. So Doug did some research and got some quotes and stuff, really just quick ones. And I think that's plenty of money, but you guys have any questions or anything for us?
We don't.
So if anybody has any questions for them, go ahead and fire away. But as we all know, that land had what building was on there, Duncan, do you remember?
As you can.
Yeah. So the whole area has been previously disturbed. They did give us a quick sketch of what it looks like today. And they want to put out that scoreboard to the right, players right, that is right of the flagpole. And they're, obviously they're staying outside that 30. They want to get it as close as they can to the fence, still allow maintenance up and around that. And they also want to bring electricity over to it. So,
Underground.
yeah, underground.
Yes.
You gotta ditch switch it over or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doug helped them file their request for termination of applicability paperwork and just wanted everyone's opinion on it. I know, again, we've all supported them for years.
What is that pipe that's coming up next to the flagpole?
So next to that flagpole is a pipe that's, I believe.
It's a monitoring well.
Yes.
Oh, monitoring?
Yeah, yeah, there's a cap on it, right?
There's a cap on it.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. The other thing I was gonna say is due to, it's town Little League, it's not town sponsored, but it's a private Little League. So I wanted to hopefully waive any fees for us in this filing. I don't know if we can take a vote on it, but anybody have any questions or comments?
Don't need an improvement.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking about it for years.
Yep.
You just, as soon as you can.
Say again?
As soon as you can.
When are you gonna put
Yes,
it?
yeah. And we're donating this,
Yeah, there is donated the install as well, so. What's the filing fee, Doug, on this, what typically?
50, then the advertising fee, so, 65, so total, $115.
So I'd like to make a motion to waive the $115 filing fee.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So as far as helping out with some of the materials for the install that you're not taking care of already, if you guys get us the invoices, I don't know, Trevor, looking for some advice. Is it easier for us to pay the invoices or for them to give us the invoices after they've been paid and we repay them, like we did with that's what we did with the fence repairs we helped with many moons ago?
Reimbursement, easier.
Okay.
That way, that way you can get the invoices and come back and take a vote.
Okay, yeah, that's what we did with the fence repairs back when they first went in. So if you wanna do that, buy everything and then submit us the invoices, we'll review them and we'll pay what we can out of that Brooks account.
Sounds good to me.
All right, and
Sure.
what do you need from them to start moving forward? Signatures?
Yeah, just give them my, say, -3. 2, 3, yeah.
You gave me this.
They did it.
Oh, yeah, that's it. If you want to come out and sign it later.
Yeah, -3.
Someone can make a motion to approve the -3.
Motion made, issue a -3 determination.
I'll second.
With the following conditions of
Yeah.
regular, standard special conditions, site inspections.
Just let us know when you're actually gonna start, so I can get out there and help lay out everything.
For sure.
So I'd like to make a move to approve that determination, do we have to vote
I'll
on it?
make that move. I'll
All,
make that motion. too.
all in favor? Aye. We voted on the -3, I was just making sure. Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Love it when you do things quick.
All right, next on the agenda, the notice of intent, while we're kind of signing paperwork here. This is a continuation from March 25th. Gardner Conservation Commission will hold a joint public hearing under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act in the City of Gardner, Wetlands Protection Ordinance, on a notice of intent filed by David Ross Associates for Robert Lapierre for the property located at 122, 128 Wampanoag Road South. It's Mass DEP file 1600668. Is anybody here to represent Mr. Lapierre?
No, I talked to him on the phone, still working with, trying to get third-party consultants on board. I've done some unusual answers,
Yeah, everyone's pretty busy too.
so just, keeping at that, so.
I mean, we did give a couple of ones that we've used in the past. We can't make any,
No.
we can only give recommendations to who does that type of work. We can't recommend an individual.
Yeah.
Someone like to make a motion to continue to April 22nd.
I'll make that motion, make it to April 22nd.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, the next is, continuation from March 25th, regarding All-Purpose Storage LLC, represented by Chris Guda, Fieldstone Land Consultants, who work on parcel ID X2213, 16, 8 through 14, and 9 through 18 on 143 Colony Road. The project entails extension of existing storage facility, including 7 storage containers, 4 of which are located within that buffer zone to every bordering vegetated wetland. It's DEP file 1600664. As everyone recalls, we did go to a third-party review, and that took some time to get it all resolved, worked out, paid, and subsequent report back to us, which we received. Just gonna need a little bit more time to review that third-party review. It just came in, and it's substantial. I'm glad they got it, and hopefully it works out for all parties. Would someone like to make a motion to continue till April
I
22nd?
make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Make sure everyone's prepared for that next meeting so we can get that moving forward. The next is a continuation from March 25th. Conservation Commission will hold a joint public hearing under MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, in the City of Gardner, Wetlands Protection Ordinance on the notice of intent filed by Ty and Bond on behalf of the City of Gardner and Trevor Biergard for 130 Crystal Lake Drive. It's the North Central Pathway Nature Trail Connector, DEP file number 1600669. Somebody here to represent?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
How you doing? Come on up.
Good, how are you?
Good, how are you?
We've got some supplemental materials stuff and handed around.
Chris, we're gonna be on a first name basis here.
I know, we're down friendly.
Let's not go too far there.
Alright, so there's 2 together. So these are individual packages.
So I'm back with another memo. This time, the Mass DEP did issue their
Thank you.
comments, the comments responses in that memo. Also, the commission obviously voiced some concerns, continued concerns last time we were here, so there's further discussion on those, but, unfortunately, I was only able to shoot this over to Doug earlier this afternoon. DEP comments came in Thursday. Just getting everything packaged back up. So we're happy to go through it with the commission, this evening and, see if we can't work through, some of those outstanding concerns. There's also a set of floor plan sheets, it's a limited set. Basically, Mr. Burns, was interested in the fencing option, and that's been depicted on those revised sheets.
Oh, good.
That fence is a 4-foot black vinyl chain link fence for like the first 600 feet off Crystal Lake Drive where it's along the lake. Set up about 6 inches for a critter gap below, and also with a rub rail that runs on that fence so you don't get handlebar snags into that chain link. We're
Oh, they
also,
don't get, when they jump over to go swimming, they don't get hit over the dog.
exactly. We're also proposing the standard city Gardner water supply signs, which were used at the park project and are, all around that area. So those will be posted every 150 feet on that fence, kind of enhancing the idea that, this is the water supply, but the signs have a good message. And the other change to signage, or addition to signage, was the posting of the no motor vehicle signs, which are standard, usually for bike paths like this, but they weren't called out in the plan earlier, so we added those as well, both ends of the proposed path. So that's largely what those plan sheets are showing. Again, limited set there. There's a graphic that was with the memo that I see is on the top of a lot of folks' files. This is not an architectural rendering, but this was the best we could do in the time we had, just to try to enhance the photo rendering that we had provided last time. There's 2 views there, kind of the 2 critical areas of concern, one being our area along Crystal Lake Drive, the other being the wetland crossing, which is the culvert. For the view along Crystal Lake Drive, I went back and measured because I didn't have the numbers offhand a month ago, but the closest we are is about 50 feet, and then generally we're 60 to 70 feet away from Crystal Lake through there. We're 10 feet to 20 feet in elevation above Crystal Lake. So when you look at that perspective image, you don't see the water off to the left, and that's where it should be in that image. I mean, you can kind of see it off in the distance, and I'm not trying to. This is a photo we had from the sidewalk. I'm not trying to skew the perception out there, but you are. You're more than 50 feet from that approximate edge of water line, and you're up, 10 to 20 feet. So, that's what the view, is gonna look like. You've got, during growing season, really nice thick vegetation down that embankment, both trees and nice understory type growth. So, from a vegetative perspective, there's a good barrier there between the path and the lake itself. You add in the fence element now to prevent people from disturbing that vegetative barrier, and hopefully those things all stay intact.
That's a question.
Yeah.
Just a clarification, so the first 600 feet you said, is that shape? I can't remember, is there like wooden fence in other parts or not? I can't
So
remember.
there's wooden fence up around the corner when we have when we're proposing the culvert. We've got wooden fence there because you're up a little bit
Right.
at that point.
Okay.
But we really removed it after that. The fence is great, but it also is maintenance, so.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to decipher all this. We just got this at 4 o'clock today.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you just said that you got your DEP comments back on Thursday, but it says here you got them on the 2nd of April.
Second, I thought it was full.
So you guys have had how many days to resolve this, and when we get all this information dumped on us an hour and a half, 2 hours before the meeting?
Yeah.
It's a lot to take on.
It's a lot to take on. Yes.
I mean, just trying to be frank, I mean, normally,
Yeah.
we said in the meeting
Trust
minutes
me.
last week, we wanted to be prepared for this one and make a decision.
Yeah.
And we get, 14-page review.
I would have rather play catch with my son on Sunday too, but I was working on this, so.
Yeah.
Just the way it fell this last 2 weeks. I apologize for that.
No, it's not on you,
It's not a rush effort on you guys at all.
Oh, I understand that, it's just a lot to take in.
It is. I mean, we're happy to stand here and work through it with you, but, I understand.
Let's just get through some of this stuff and maybe we can get this done in the current session.
So,
Yep.
you sent something at 4 o'clock, are there any copies of it?
Yeah, this
That's
is
what
it.
it is, that's what we
This is
said.
it.
I thought it was pretty long, no?
It's 14 pages.
Okay,
Yeah, look, the attachment looked like it was a lot more,
Yeah.
like a big attachment in the picture.
okay.
So
I got you.
you've got, so there's a memo there. The memo has the response to DEP
Okay.
comments, and then it's got a section responding to the commission's specific concerns from a couple of weeks ago.
What was DEP's comment?
We'll go through.
Yeah, we'll go through them.
We'll go through.
Yeah, this
Attached to that memo was an O&M plan for the wetland. A lot of
is
that,
your own plan?
yeah, most of this will be in the specifications for the contract, including a wetland verification spec, O&M work during construction. But the big takeaway there is the city's the project proponent. There'll be a year warranty period in that contract for that contractor. Time beyond that the commission reasonably would require for, O&M is gonna have to be the responsibility of the owner. which is the city in this case, so.
Yeah, that's one of my questions, so I'll just fire away, then maybe we can get through some of these a lot quicker. So elaborate on number one, on the 401 water quality cert.
Yep.
They're saying you need it, you're saying you don't.
Correct, so we actually addressed this in the original application.
I thought you did, that's why I'm bringing it up.
Mass Mapper, if you go on their GIS, the polygon extends over where our wetland crossing is. We went out on the site, we did some investigations, that wetland is all sitting below a ridge, and it all flows down to a drainage culvert that goes away from.
Yeah, waking up not towards the water.
Yeah, and that's why that's one of the reasons we crossed where we did, because we're below that red maple swamp. That red maple swamp is a tributary, that would have been the RW. So my take is the reviewer went on Mass Mapper, so the
That's what they always do.
why aren't you 401? And so we just explained the field investigation. I got a video on my phone of the water flowing away through that culvert to confirm that's the direction it went. We feel pretty confident about that.
Okay, so you guys can fire away if you want to, but on number 4, they talk about like this part of the trail, and I agree, I had my notes. What about the rest of the trails? I mean, we're slowly taking this segment down, we're fighting away these little hiccups along the way, but what are we up against? Can we get some insight
Yeah,
on the
so
next connectors?
obviously we don't, segmentation is not a DEP term, but it's a DEP.
I know.
But we don't wanna do that, and we don't wanna do that to the Conservation Commission. I acknowledge in my response, there's a master plan trail system here. There's DOT projects that go from north of this trail up to 140 and over 140. The reality is those are preliminary design 3 years out, at least on the tip. So, they're real. The commission should very much be aware of the fact that those are real, that there will be permit applications for those projects. I'm not involved in the bridge, but I think there's a wetland up in the corner there on Route 140, so it's probably a buffer zone to you guys. The rest of the trail, there's that Pearly Brook or Pearl Brook?
Pearly, isn't it?
Pearly.
Comes out of Van John.
Pearl's in the south. Pearly Brook is all there. There's the switch yard for National Grid up there. There's the kind of big wetland. So we're in a buffer up there. I'll see you again in 3 years. Hopefully we're still on a first name basis. I mean, it's real, but it is not, I can't present anything on it now, you know what I mean? So, again, we're talking in the past,
You mentioned the bridge.
Yep.
Where are we on the bridge?
It's not part of one of his projects, so it's not his project.
It's at a 25%.
No, I mean, if you,
Another consultant's working with Mass DOT, they're at 25% design on that project, so there's 2 to 3 years of design development to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next couple of my questions, and you guys can kind of take over on your questions. I'm going over to the wetlands replication information. 1.1.3, actually, let's go to, I see a 1-1. This says minimum of 3 years. So we're talking about someone who has a minimum of 3 years wetlands experience monitoring this project.
Right, so that would be put in, contracted documents afterwards, but that can be, in the order of conditions, that can be.
3 years, you're not even finished college yet. Why would you do 5 years or 6 years, 8 years? Somebody has a lot more
That's up
experience.
to you. You absolutely, as the commission, put in your condition how many years' experience that monitor needs. That goes right in the contract specifications.
What do you guys think on that? How many years?
you asking us, or you asking them?
Oh, he's asking us. I mean, I just think 3 years is not enough.
I just went through this with the Holyoke Conservation Commission asking me to do it, and they required 5 years. They required 5 years.
How many years experience do you have?
4-ish. I think I'm all
All
right.
right, I like 5 years.
Wait, hold on. I asked you guys again, you've been involved in this other thing, so what was the average time span?
Oh, for like
For-
experience
for
level?
Yeah, for monitoring,
Five's
Yeah,
Oh, that's-
five,
Five's pretty common.
yeah.
All right, my next one is, so it talks about the minimum 3 years experience. The plan is to be implemented during the early to late growing season, depending on construction schedule. We don't know what that date is yet. And then we talk about who's gonna monitor the precip rates in that area? Who's gonna be responsible to do that? Once construction's over, or during construction and once construction's over?
So during construction, and likely for a year afterwards, this will be on the contractor as part of the contract specification. So their monitor will have to do all those things. After that point, you're not gonna be able to hold that contractor, as bond anymore or anything like that. So however many more years the commission wants for monitoring that replication will become the responsibility of the owner. In this case, that's the department. So whether that's Doug performing the work at that point,
No, I don't want Doug to be responsible for
so
that.
then it becomes a vendor that has to be, hired to come look at that.
Cause what I see is we get these O&M manuals and these procedures and these checklists. You know how many in 15 years I've gotten returned? Exactly. Have you guys ever seen them?
No.
You'll get it for a year. On this one,
Well, I mean, this says that we're supposed to get it
yeah,
more than a year, right?
you're citing a bigger problem that exists everywhere, that it requires the commission to do enforcement if they're not getting them, you know what I mean, all those things.
So I just feel like we're trying to make this work and then it falls back on us to maintain something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have something similar related to that with this O&M. I mean, you have first year warranty for the contractor, right? You won't even know if the thing failed in year one. We have a situation right now, which way after year one. And then we're on the hook, or the city's on the hook, no one's gonna do it. So we have to get that figured out for this to work.
Yeah.
Because just saying it's a year and the contractor's off the hook, then no one at the city will do it.
We've
have
never
to figure it out.
even seen one for the courthouse.
So, I mean, it sounds good, but there's
Well, I'm
gotta
worried
be more
about this.
details.
This is just out there a little bit more. It's not like where somebody can drive by and just take a look and, Norman's always out there with his eyes and ears, but I mean, we can't, and it can't fall back on conservation to go make sure what we just voted on is alive in a year.
Yeah, when I say city, I don't mean.
I know you don't, I know, but I mean, in the city, who's gonna be responsible for this? Right now, we can't even maintain the land we have,
Mr. Chairman.
in the parks we have right now.
Through the years, the parks that we have, Dane Arnold's been very cooperative in helping maintain the trail, and I'm sure he'll do the same with this addition.
Has anybody been to the new ball field or the new fields over off of, over by, West, what's the heck is it called? Yeah, has anybody been out there?
Bailey Park.
Bailey Park?
No.
Do you know that, conservation aid for doing the trash out there for a long time, and you can't even get to the platform anymore, it's not maintained? Dane Stretch, that's what I'm concerned
Well, I'm
about.
just
He's
saying-
been very good to work with for a
I'm
long,
just
long
saying,
time.
when I've been involved with Dane, it's been very good.
Yeah, 100%, but he's short-staffed. When I goes on to say in here, I mean, and then it talks about replication monitoring and how many, who's gonna go out there, and it might need watering and all this stuff, I just feel like, I don't want this thing to fail, and one of my questions was, how can we shape the wetlands replication area so it's not this big, long track? And that was in our meeting minutes, and we asked you guys to be prepared for that.
So it's not, it's,
So where do we have it? Do we move it?
here on the plan,
Wait.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so
Where is it
we
on here?
moved it
It's not
from,
on there.
It's like it's rounded.
Is it rounded more?
2 weeks ago,
yeah, so
we gave you a
we changed
revised.
it to a liver shape
I don't remember that.
for your request. Yeah, and we moved it over to where he and I went out and went. and
Yeah,
did
that was
the,
All right, good, I just don't recall that.
to where the Japanese knotweed area was. And then, so
you made it-
kept the linear, but we took the corner instead and cut it.
The whole
into
thing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
It's
much better.
not the whole thing of the, Japanese knotweed, that was the question. But it's the equal proportion to what it was before, what changed shape.
So
Good, thank you.
that's good. So the whole Japanese knotweed thing. So what's gonna happen to that?
Well, in the area that the wetland application is going in, that soil is being inspected and told off-site. That's in this memo that we gave in. The rest of the area will have to be managed somehow. So either treated or
By a contractor?
it could be, it could be put in the order of conditions for that, but that's outside of the area of the replication, it's just next to it. You could go in and use chemicals to spray it, but then you have to have considerations for the ORW, for Crystal Lake. You could hand manage it.
We're not in, but, well,
In wet, yeah, that's, yeah. So that would be it.
where you can hack it over and put the black fabric over it for, a million years or however long they recommend now to kill the knotweed. It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's right there.
It's gonna be really tough to get rid of that.
What? I'm the oldest person here, and I've been on this
Thank
commission
you.
a long time. And I'll tell you something about Gardner. it's a great city in a lot of ways, but they don't maintain nothing. I mean, everybody can say, they don't maintain anything. A good example is that brand new, recreation area off of Leo Drive, whatever. I went to go in there the other day and the two cars coming out were getting stuck in the mud. Mud, no.
Mr. Chair, I'll say, you mentioned the watering, right? If we're watering past the year when the contractor's out there, we pick that spot, you know what I mean? Like your hydrology should take over after a year. But once you water the plants that were planted that first year, make sure that they take. I mean, this is out in the woods, you really shouldn't be watering in years 2 and 3. Because it should be responding at that point.
So when you're talking about the evaluation of success of plantings, including requirement for a successful measured by vegetation over 75%, who's gonna do that? Who's gonna say this is 75%?
Yeah.
Because I know in my job, when I do that, I'm like, yeah, okay, then no one's gonna go out there and do the real math and figure it out.
I mean, year 1, same problem. Year 1, you've got a project manager that the contract is paid for that's doing that. Year 2, 3, 4, whatever it is that the commission requires, that's the problem, There has to be a vendor that's doing that.
Yeah, that's my concern. I mean, you mentioned the school, right, and the wetlands over there. I just feel like in this particular project, I'd like the Conservation Commission to be more involved in the procurement, the construction, the oversight, everything, because I can tell you right now, I mean, the knowledge in this room is substantial, and we always just get, oh, the project's done, come see it. I mean, just think of the knowledge in this room. I mean, Norman's out there almost every day riding his bike. And I just feel like we should have more of a say. How can we make that happen? As opposed to somebody buying it out, this contract of low bid, and some person doesn't have the 3 years, but they say they do. How can conservation, this board be involved in that?
Add in the conditions, pre-construction meeting, and then add in the conditions that the agent needs to be informed when the monitor is going out to do their inspections. And then Doug has the opportunity to attend with them and report back.
Can we be involved in leveling bids?
I mean, the public bids, I mean, they could be shared with you, but in terms of awarding this project, it's gonna be, we gotta follow public bid law, we
Yeah,
can't-
but I mean, can't we help level set the low bid?
Man,
Yeah, go ahead. Hold on, Doug, hold on.
So Doug will be involved in the project from day 1.
Yeah,
He'll be
I understand
involved
that.
with that whole process of bidding, awarding the contract, and overseeing the implementation of the project.
But I want all of us to be involved, not just Doug.
You want the whole commission to be involved with the?
I mean, I think I have a lot of knowledge on bidding and contracts, yeah, probably more than most. I mean, there's a reason why we're still fighting stuff at the school that's not done yet. I just feel like this one, just think of all you guys, I mean, you got, look at your knowledge of the two right there. I just think that when there's a special type of project like this, and we're here for that reason, I think we should be involved a lot more.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to that either, but it's kind of difficult because you all work full-time jobs during the day, and not a lot of this work is done.
100% agree.
I think if you put in requirements to be kept abreast of what's going on, I mean, you have to be out there, once you approve this permit, that permit gives you the authority to go out and inspect anything, all the work's going on, so as long as you're made aware of the scheduling, when you can make it work in your schedule, you can come out and participate with that. I mean, I think that makes sense.
Go ahead, Doug.
I got you. I was in business for myself a long time, and I always used to say, never, ever, ever take the low bid. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so you're gonna be involved with picking whoever it is. I mean, if you get, say, 5 bids and the 2 low bidders, they've never done the project before, can you reject them?
So we will put in our bid spec a requirement that they have X years of experience doing comparable work. It's usually 10 years and 5 similar projects within 5 years. That's usually the standard that's in there. We can play with that a little bit. That's one criteria by which we could potentially reject a little bit. But this will be publicly bid under 3039M, and if you throw a bidder out, you better darn well have a reason, because they're probably taking it really cheap for doing that, so.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, who here's got 20 years of construction experience in contracts? 20, anybody? Or see anybody? Here's your hand up. 13. That's a lot. I'm just saying, we have a lot of experience here, and we've done these projects over the years in the city, and we get, oh, we're starting tomorrow, oh, here's the end. And then you know what happens? The same thing we're dealing with the school, we're still fixing stuff.
Yep.
You have retainage, you have all the same stuff in play, and you know what happens?
I think, you know, another condition you can put in is, and to Trevor's point, Doug's gonna be highly involved anyway.
Yep.
He should be definitely involved when we punch list the project and make any decisions on retainage going back, right?
And that's, you just heard, he's got 4 years' experience.
Yep.
And he's great.
Yep.
Well knowledge, no debate on his knowledge and skill.
Yep.
But I put up against all of us in this room, is what I'm trying
Punch
to
list
get to.
walkthrough, you know, 1 or 2 members of this commission should, you
Yeah.
know, if they can be there, be there.
Yep.
I got one commission, excuse me, one question.
Sure.
Oh, Dave, you were first, go ahead.
Once the bid is accepted, how long do you think it's gonna take to complete the trail? That section that you have here, how long do you think it will take them?
We were playing around with this a little bit. I think substantial completion is it's probably 75 days. I'd say shorter, but there's gonna be access challenges. You're kinda gonna be going in one way. There's not really anywhere to lay materials down, so you're gonna be bringing them in by the truck. So I think it's a 75-day substantial completion.
Would that include the replication area?
Well, I mean, it started, yes, but then.
I know the replication has to grow, I understand that, but
Yeah, I wouldn't, you know, on this project, given the sensitivity, I wouldn't want to issue substantial completion until the replication is established, because when we say, yes, you've achieved substantial completion, that starts that 1-year warranty period for the contractor. So we want to make sure that that work is done before we say, you know, yes, you've achieved substantial, because we need them for at least a year to be
so
participating.
you're saying 75 days,
I think that's a reasonable estimate to substantial completion.
okay?
That's from procurement to completion,
No, for notice,
actual on-site.
notice to proceed.
So in your RFP, you're gonna be putting milestone dates,
I don't think we'll put formal milestones, but we'll put contract times. and then-
contract
then we'll-
durations.
Yep, and then there's always a liquidated damages clause on that. It rarely gets enforced, but it's leveraged when we're negotiating it at the
Yeah,
end.
they all know it doesn't get enforced. How about the retainage? How are you gonna handle that? Cause that seems to be an issue.
5% retainage.
How about 10%? Do we have to do 5?
I have to look, I don't know if that's state law, I feel like that's 39M, the 5%.
Yeah, could you stage it to make it more sinful for on their side? I mean, a lot of people are doing 5%, and then at 50% or 75% goes to 2.5%.
Yeah, I mean, at substantial completion, we'll drop to, and we can change this, but we'll drop to 1,
Yeah,
plus the cost of any,
Yeah.
any work that needs to be done. So we do reduce it as.
You do.
But not till substantial.
yeah. See, I'm always worried about we reduce it as a city, and then we have, after some point, they're like, oh, it's 15 grand on $1 million job,
I'm done.
see ya.
I'm out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
well, I don't want that on this one, because it's just too far out there.
Yep.
So who can sign off on substantial completion on this project?
So the recommendation would likely come from me, and then it would be Doug or Trevor that would be signing off.
Can it be signed off on a vote of the commission?
What?
Hold on.
I've never done that before. I can see scheduling challenges, you know, just with the contractor, but
I'm sorry to hear that. As a contractor, I literally, I deal with it. I'm just-
City, so can I chime in?
Yeah, go for it, Trevor.
So I'm gonna say no. It's gonna be, this is a product of the Department of Community Development Planning.
Yeah.
It's our project. We're gonna be overseeing it. And we'll be the ones that sign off on.
Well, I don't agree with that.
substantial completion.
How can you sign off substantial completion on wetlands project?
Well, we have experts involved here, Doug.
I think the
engineers.
commission should be
We're gonna
involved.
have Ty Bond's gonna be overseeing the project from
Yeah.
a construction standpoint. Yeah, we'll have the expertise involved to,
I just think the commission should be involved in the agreement of substantial completion.
Greg, you mentioned you want everybody to be involved, but can you be more specific?
Yeah, site visits, project meetings, substantial completion, pay requests, pay approvals. I know it's Trevor's job, but I want someone over help facilitate that.
Yeah.
Because what happens when we get railroaded at the end, hence the school, and we're still out there trying to get a wetlands or a replication done.
Okay.
I mean, were you guys involved with the school at all? No.
I don't know, are we?
No, I don't think you guys were. I was just-
Not
I mean,
specifically us, but.
Yeah,
Well, that's a good example of the city. And it's
They're just
$7
short-staffed.
And he screwed it up. It looked like a desert up there last fall. And it was, who was gonna water for it? Jesus, I don't know.
I mean, you guys, what are your thoughts? I mean, do we have enough information on
Chairman,
here?
you have a question over there?
Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, so to allow the project to go forward, what are you looking for from Ty and Bond or from your committee to get it going more forward? I'm just.
We're trying to follow the process, and we wanna make sure that it's done correctly, and that it's completed, and it's maintained, and it holds, and it survives. So we're just trying to make sure that all those steps take place, and some of the documentation answers some of that, but I mean, we got it at 4 o'clock today.
No, I understand, because I saw Dave today.
Yeah.
I know that you hadn't received it, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious what you're looking for a timeline and information from them or from the city to allow it to go forward.
Well, anybody have anything else?
I just have a question. So Trevor, I respectfully understand it's definitely your project and Doug is involved, but I'm wondering, can you at least have a clause that you can meet with Greg about it? Just to show good faith. I mean, because stuff does happen when we're not informed about it, and so that's all we're asking.
Yeah, that's all
your
I'm
call.
calling.
I just don't know how the whole commission's gonna be involved in the construction.
Well, that's why I said Greg.
I mean, that's,
Well,
it
this
just
is,
sounds to me like.
this is different than just building a parking lot and a building. This is wetlands, and it's a little different, and it's not something that we do every day in the city.
Yeah, we can try to involve you as much as possible, I'm just,
I
you
just don't
said
know how
the
to-
entire commission, and I don't see how this.
Well, I meant by vote,
Sure.
Because what happens is we're at the end, trying to pick up all the pieces, and the money's gone. Right, retainage is usually paid out because it's contractual, and we're like, still trying to fix stuff. I just don't know, I don't know the best way to get to that point, but I just want to.
I don't know how you avoid that point, to be quite honest with you, just
I just-
being, I mean, I've been doing this for 25, 30 years.
Yep,
I get it. It
Wetlands,
happens all the time.
how many wetlands have you guys done?
I'm not saying wetlands, I'm saying project management,
Yep,
construction
yep.
management.
Yep.
And it's the same thing.
Well, it's a little different, but,
No, I'm just, from
It's
the project being finalized in accordance with the plans and specs, especially when it comes to the loaming and seeding and planting, that's always the biggest problem, because it's always the last thing that happens.
yeah,
By that time,
everyone's
it's
gone.
been paid out, yeah, moving on.
So we're trying to just figure out a way to avoid that.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it is, it is. I think we're all trying to do the right thing, we all want the project to go forward, right? Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Just trying to figure out how to,
So as far as substantial completion, I mean, that's something we can certainly bring back to the commission, when that time comes. I don't see a problem with that, but you're gonna be provided the same information that we're making to, from our engineers, so, I mean, it certainly can be done. I don't necessarily agree that it's a necessary step, but in due respect to the commission, I guess, if that's what you guys want, we'll give it to you.
and do you guys like this form? This is what they're gonna use. And we don't know, we need a designee who this person's gonna be, once, I mean, this is all done. That's the other thing, after the contractors leave, there's nothing. No, I'm telling you right now, no one's going out there to
As
make
far
sure
as you
this
guys are
is.
concerned, who's gonna be involved with this?
The actual construction.
No, the engineers.
So I'm the project manager, and I will still be involved. You know, Seth will likely be involved in some of the wetlands related inspection, because he's the most familiar with it at this point.
So your contract right now, is it stop at end at pre-con, or does it go through the completion of the project? Signed contract,
Signed contract through construction.
through the completion and project turnover, or closeout?
Yeah, project closing, yeah.
That's been the new trend, but they, you know, they hire engineers through pre-con, then they say, see ya.
No, we've got construction admin on this project. We have limited site work, but we do have time for meetings, come out and inspect, you know, periodically, especially at critical points. We'll definitely be looking at the wetland work and pay recs, you know, RFIs, all that stuff.
You guys, what, use software to do that?
What, pay recs?
No, all of the project management.
Yeah, we use Procore.
Can I get an invite to Procore?
That's easy enough, yeah.
That'll work, Trevor.
Okay.
That'll definitely work. We did that for the school too with Lindsay.
No, go ahead, go.
That way I can just log in there
You can see the shop drawings we have.
and everything,
Yeah.
yep.
We tend to track, pay recs separately, but.
Yeah, we do too.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a pain in the Procore.
I was just gonna address your concern with this form, but if Doug is being made aware of when this stuff is being monitored, which he would be, he could also be involved at that stage, which we didn't really have
No.
before. Then that would be a big help.
Yeah.
I think that's what you said.
And if you don't like this form and you have a different form in mind, you can simply give us a condition tonight that we have to agree on a form with Doug before we.
Yeah, we would state it as an example form.
You know what I
We
mean,
can
like,
change it, everyone.
that's not a huge issue, you know, and in terms of timeliness, like, that's something we can work out with Doug over the next couple of weeks.
Can you guys use an observation in Procore and not use this? So it's right for record? You can tailor it any way you want. I'm just trying to think of something that's better and easier to track so anybody can just print it off.
Yeah, we could try, set a template up in there with the, you know, the field.
Almost like a SWIP in observations.
Yeah,
Do you guys do that?
Uh-huh.
For those of you that don't know, it's a project software program, and inside it have all of this, pictures, and then some. So it'd be a lot easier, then we can print it off in the meeting and everyone can review it. And the only other thing I have, and I'm good with everything else, is it says on here, the reporting part, annual reports will be submitted to the Conservation Commission no later than the 31st of each calendar year for a period of 3 years. Can we do that, you know, can we stage that a little bit more, so it's not once a year and we get it December 31st? I mean, it says no later than, but we all know.
I think it's well within your purview to condition how you want that to be.
I like it, you know, twice a year for 3 years. Is that something you guys can modify this?
Yeah, put it,
But not in December.
Yeah,
The reason I chose this December is because you could make recommendations for the spring, so that we could discuss it if we needed to. As soon as April comes, those things for the wetland can be implemented.
yeah, I was thinking like.
That's the only reason I chose this.
Yeah, I know why you probably did it, but I was thinking May 31st, October 31st, something like that. So it's actually real, because someone's gonna forget and go out there on the last day and can't see anything. That's all I got.
It goes out to bid and you pick a contractor. Cause you think, you know, he's done this before, he may not be the low bidder, but he knows what he's doing, right? Now, he has a clerk of the works on that. How is that picked?
so, I mean, he'll have the superintendent out there, in terms of, you know, progression of work, quantities, all those things. Contractor will track them, Time Bond's got enough of a contract to, you know, double check those things at those check-in points. We're not in a clerk of the works role, we don't have that much of a budget, but we will still be involved in a level where we understand what's going on.
Okay.
So we're the balance.
You know, just like some catastrophe that nobody sees coming and it, whatever, you know, a 3-inch rainstorm or something like that, whenever everything's opened up and, you know, all 9 yards, right?
And like Trevor said, Doug's gonna be the, you know, when we get to that point, when we get, you know, out of the commission, Doug will step into more of a PM role. So I'll be working with him and relying on him for probably more frequent eyes out there, but we'll still be up here enough that we know what's going on.
I would like to see something, maybe every 3 or 4 weeks, that states what was done.
I can answer that for you.
What's that?
I can already answer that for you. So that Procore program,
Yeah.
we can literally go in and there's daily reports, there's everything there. So you could email me, I can pull it up and we can have it right in front of us.
Of everything that's done and what's gonna be done at a specific time interval. Really,
Yeah,
that's what I'd like to see.
go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, they'll be doing bi-monthly or quarter, you know, 4 times a month, they'll be doing site visits, they'll be doing reports with pictures of the site on all the work that's progressing throughout the project. And that will be available on that software.
That's the stuff I think we all need to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yep. Yeah, I can pull it right up and I'll show you after the meeting what it looks
okay,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll like it. Yeah,
We'll, you know, I'll be talking to Doug enough that we'll make sure those inspections are falling, you know, a few days before a meeting, so at least you're getting something recent when you guys sit down to pull the report. That'll make the most sense.
all right, anybody else have any other questions or comments?
I have a
Go ahead,
question.
Fran.
Sort of a tangent, but it kind of calls back to what they're saying about maintenance after the fact. This is built as a nature trail. I'm wondering if there's any idea of having interpretive signage about wildlife? Or is it a nature trail just because it's going through nature?
That's good.
Okay, that's my question.
I mean, I think it's a fair suggestion, and we don't have anything in there now, and frankly, I'd look to like the commission to say what it is they wanted, you know, if it's waterfowl in the lake, if it's the salamanders, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think we can make that happen on our own with scouts.
Yeah.
In terms of signs, we've done it with the scouts over the years.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that can go both ways, where like, there's a vernal pool, you wanna sign telling people about it, but that can also entice people to,
oh, look,
Forget the
yeah,
flower.
well, yeah.
don't touch.
But isn't that right where one of the fences is gonna be?
Yeah,
I
well,
don't think
next
so.
to it, on
Yeah.
the, where the crossing, the
The fencing for the crossing.
Yeah, I was thinking more of waterfowl at the
Yeah.
thing, but the vernal pool is a good example of that too. Well, it requires thought, that's all right.
We could have conditions
That's a
for
good
it
suggestion.
down and have it.
Thank you.
Right.
I just have one comment I'd like to say, that these are the kind of projects that make the city what it is. It's not just getting more restaurants in and other stores. These are the kind of things that the homegrown people are gonna use and appreciate because it's in their backyard. And I really think whatever it takes, you gotta get this thing through.
I think that's one thing we're all on board to go.
Yeah.
So I was just asking Doug what we can do to move this thing forward tonight. And it comes down to order of conditions.
Yeah, like, I mean, whatever you want, can include it, that'll get submitted to the
All right,
registry.
so we can bring this to a vote if we get all these order conditions done tonight.
Yeah,
Just for saying.
hash it out and.
All right, so on the wetlands replication, we want the experience to be 5 years. I'll give you this if you want, or you can just,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so that's one. Instead of 3 years, we'll do 5 years experience.
We're informed of the pre-construction meeting.
Yep, attend and inform and attend the pre-construction meeting. You got that? Reporting would be twice a year for 3 years. I'm gonna say, and you guys pick if you wanna change this, but I think I had April or May 31st and October 31st. Just to, yeah, that's what I had. Anybody okay with that? Growing season, I'm looking at you guys.
Usually it's June,
Okay,
that's just been my experience. June
Yeah.
June is usually when you do the inspection.
okay.
That's when everything is up.
So June and October, is that fair?
Yeah.
Access to Procore, is that gonna be, should we put that in the order of conditions?
I mean, maybe put something more generic than that, but like
Access to projects,
staff reports or something. like that.
status reports and software program? Okay. You got your fencing in there, right?
It's in the design.
Yeah, I saw that. Do we have anything else we wanna put in there? Doug to attend any daily, or, walkthroughs. Project schedule, milestone dates, you got all this stuff, do you remember all this? And then, substantial completion, we need some clarification on what that's gonna be for this particular project.
Yeah.
If you could just send that out to us on the side of what you normally would do, maybe that would be enough.
Like how we would go about substantial completion.
Yeah, what are the project documents, what substantial completion be, driven from?
Yeah. I'll expand the definition of it on this one.
Thank you.
Particularly in, replication area, like that's, they're gonna put it off, and that's really what we're gonna hinge. That needs to happen, realistically, it needs to happen at the right time of the season too, so.
Yeah.
We'll put emphasis on that.
Can we hold funds for that 3 years of the replication in this contract, or is it not big enough? I don't know what the values are, and I never really wanna know, but on this one, is that doable, or is that ridiculous for such a small area?
I think it's a small area, but I also think you'll have an issue because the contractor's gonna be required to have his bonds in for like a year. If you hold money beyond that, it's this like 1 year cut mark issue that we were talking about earlier.
So I'm okay if we just get a qualified statement of, substantial completion as an order of conditions. What else do you guys have? You normally come up with a couple. We used to do a standard, remember we revised it at one point?
Yeah, standard order of condition, any special conditions that arise as the project going.
Nothing's been said, but, you know, we get this paperwork to you, and then you have to wait 10 days or 20 days, whatever it is. What's your timeframe? I mean, you know, realistically, is it gonna be done in October, or is it gonna be in August, or, you know?
It's a this year project. We're working with the grant agency to hold the money beyond the end of the fiscal year right now. Technically, it's an end of fiscal year grant, so we wanna go out to bid, you know, like next
Soon
week.
as-
Yeah, like next week. So the draft contract manual is sitting on the shelf, but we wanted to finish this discussion, incorporate any comments.
So realistically, when are people gonna ride on it?
I would hope the end of the season that you could get a couple passes in there before winter time.
Yeah.
Can Norman be the first one on the trail?
I think it should be. I think you should be.
The big scissors.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just curious, is it clear enough about the removing of knotweed?
No, put something in there, because I saw that.
What do you, what do you recommend after what we talked about?
Well, what I would think is that the most effective way is the glyphosate.
Right.
If you don't wanna do that, then what he was suggesting is that you can have the contractor put down like, black sheeting, like black plastic, make sure it stays down. You'll have to be down for a good 3 years, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
And that's to start. So it's gonna look black and ugly in 3 years. Or glyphosate.
Or it's gonna be,
Oh, it's gonna be taken over.
it's one or the other.
I mean, it's one of those species, it moves in the highways, it's like frag, it just,
Well,
it
yeah,
just
it's take
moves.
off.
You can't stop
With
it.
disturbance especially, that's my
You can't
concern.
stop it.
What do you wanna put in there then?
Maybe,
I mean,
made it black.
add mechanical removal.
Yeah, mechanical removal on the sheathing.
Okay, got it?
I got a question for Norman. Norman's that guy, so this guy says, he's out there all the time. Norman,
Yes.
if they, no, I'm thinking of safety with it. So we get this thing done, and people start using it. How, they're gonna walk across 140?
They do now.
Yeah, they go right through. I go right down the National Grid road.
I know, but sometimes they go the other way up around, you know.
No, they all go across.
Yeah.
I do it every day.
You know, if you're worried about your liability in a sense, right? At this point, when this project's finished, the trail will get to the north side of that substation, and then it's just kind of the dirt rail trail.
Yeah.
So really, the completed trail is the north side of the substation and back to the park, and, you know, those next two projects are what's gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
Across Park Street, and you're gonna go over.
They already did the test boring, so the footage on it.
Yep.
A year ago, whatever it was.
Anybody have anything else? We ready to vote on this?
Yes.
Someone like to make a motion to approve
Bike trail
the extension trail with their order conditions as discussed?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved as approved. Thank you guys for working with us.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna, yeah, let's sign this.
You know what? This is like another 495 extension.
Did we bring up,
I hope I read it all.
not,
We're not done yet, but
the sheds up by the prison? That been already?
I don't think it's on here.
The storage?
I haven't
Yeah, we're just waiting.
seen it back there.
Oh, yeah.